welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we'll be going over All American Season 3, Episode 11, The Bigger Picture. Let's get into it. Okay, we started with Homegirl Liv, back at it again with these podcasts. I was like, it's about time these podcasts came back because they've been slacking. I know Homegirl had a whole lot going on, but now they're back, and while she's doing her podcast, which is amazing, by the way, we have Spence over here who... Y'all see people wanting some selfies and photos with him now? Now they want to know who he is and recognize him because he had a good game? Shady people. So let him live it up because, listen, this man has worked hard to get to where he is right now. Y'all know the struggle he's been going through. But Liv's opening speech with her podcast, everything that she was talking was facts. Not only facts, but it was setting the tone for the rest of this episode. And when I tell you this is one of the best episodes in the series so far, amazing. So we got Spence, who's training, giving it his all, y'all, putting it all out there because he know he got to keep it up if he trying to get into these colleges, right? And Romello was there from TNT, which apparently he used to go to Crenshaw. So, you know, him and Billy over here catching up. They know each other. Something about Romello, though, was not sitting with me when they first showed him. I don't know. Something just seemed a little off. So I wasn't feeling him too much. So now when he's talking to Spence, what got me, when he talking to Spence and he was like, you always go this hard in practice, son? And Spence talking about, yeah, you know, practice, games, you always gotta give it 150%. That's what he been giving this whole season when he been struggling. But I know it's probably just because of that last game he had and gave him that little extra push. And now he could put it all out there. He done forgot about his little shoulder and everything. My man performing now, so he good. But he's worried because it's a lot on the line for him, and he has the pressure now of someone who's coming to see him and this college prospect, basically. And, you know, something that he hasn't really had this whole season. So for it to be this close, he's a little nervous about doing his best and performing at his best for this visit. But Billy over here is speaking some words of wisdom to him because he knows that's his son. Liv is worried about her brother, y'all, the same way he was worried about her just a few weeks ago. And she's worried about him because he hasn't seen his woman in 2 weeks, his wife in 2 weeks. And y'all could tell because y'all see the scruff all over his face. He don't let himself go. And then come to find out, Mama Laura done snitched to her parents that they've been married. So they probably have her all locked up, so he don't know what's happening to her on her end. And now she over here trying to get their marriage and all. I mean, I saw it coming. I'm not too upset about it. They are young, and that's his mama, so of course he's going to try to get it annulled. And Papa Billy had a point here in this scene because Mama Laura, you know what? We're not even going to call her Mama Laura because she was getting me tight this episode, so we're just going to call her Laura today. Laura was over here trying to spend as much money as it would take. There was no limit for her. She just wanted this marriage annulled ASAP, ASAP. But Papa Billy is over here telling her, can we just focus on the bigger matter at hand here? Our son was just in the hospital because of his concussions and everything. He may not be able to play football going forward, the doctor said. No, she doesn't even care about that. She just mostly cares about this marriage. Shouldn't you be tending to him and making sure everything is okay? And then worry about that later? I mean, they've already been married for however long it's been up until this point. What's a few more weeks? Miss. The scene with Coop and Layla, and they're talking about, well, they're working on Coop's schoolwork. Layla's basically helping her as a study partner, but she's not focused because she's worried about Liv. So what gets me is when she calls Liv her best friend. How could she not know that her best friend was suffering all these months, basically? I do not doubt that they were once best friends at some point in time, but I feel like at this point in time they are not best friends, and I feel like she's using that term because she feels not only guilty, but she does hurt for her in a way because of what she knows she's going through. I do believe she's genuine in her concern for Liv, and she does feel really bad about not noticing the signs and, you know, turning her back on Liv a few episodes back when she was trying to come to her in the school. But so I do feel like she is genuine in wanting to make sure that she's okay, in her mind not really being in the moment of what she is doing at the time because she's so worried about Liv and everything and how her recovery is going. I also do feel that they still need time apart from each other. Yes, I'm all for her voicing her concern and her actually being worried about her and everything. And, you know, if you want to be there for her, be there for her from a distance for now until that relationship builds back up, because everything that has happened between them hasn't changed anything. Everything is still there. The relationship that you once had with Spencer that, you know, ended the way it did. He confessed his feelings for Liv. She confessed her feelings for him. That whole argument you guys had regarding relationships, your friendship, everything. So all of that stuff were your true feelings. And I feel like this is just something that you shouldn't use as an excuse to get back in her life, which I don't think she'll do. I think she's just genuinely concerned about her in this moment and that she didn't see the signs. But how could you, with everything that you guys have been going through over the last couple of months, basically? So Layla's a good person. I mean, she has her flaws, but who doesn't? Same thing with Coop. She actually said something in that scene that made sense. She was like, guilt does nothing but weigh you down, so you either gotta find something positive to do with it or let it go. And I was like, that's right, girl. But Layla wasn't hearing it because, you know, she's all in her own feelings right now, and her own mind is, her thoughts are all over the place, so she wasn't focused on what Coop was saying in that moment. But what Coop said made sense, hence why she's able to keep it trucking along the way she has since her and Spencer have been. Lil Dill, making his little friend. I was like, yes, give him a friend. But when they showed Jasmine and she was like how she's waiting for her daddy, I said, Coach Carter. I had a feeling it was going to be Coach Carter, because they need to make this connection happen with him and Mama Grace, because I could sense it. Since the first time they showed his little annoying shady self, I sensed it. There was going to be something in between the two of them. And now he come to pick up his daughter, and who he see? Mama Grace. Then we have Spence, who's chatting with Nani and Jabari about Romello and just more about the TNT program. And he's really interested in this program because, yes, there have been others that have shown a little bit of interest, but none that have actually put out any offers ever since the shooting, apparently, which, I mean, understandable because of, you know, how he's been playing up until this point, and he's just started actually showing him being that resource. Y'all, okay. His bougie self, did y'all see him eat the grape with the fork? I said, sir, you can use your fingers. I'm feeling Nurse Joy, y'all. Okay, she's out to lunch with Liv, and she's just checking in for the most part, seeing where her head is at. And Liv is actually honest enough to admit that she had a rough morning, and she's letting her know it's great that you're even able to just admit that you had a rough morning. That's a step in the right direction. And they're also just touching base on the vigil that Liv is about to meet up with Kia at for Tamika. And she's letting her know that it's okay to support and want to bring awareness to these types of situations, but at the same time, you don't want to let it consume you in a way where this is your new addiction, which makes sense because of, you know, what Liv is going through and the recovery process that she's currently in. I see where she's coming from, but I feel like for Liv, this isn't going to be an addiction for her, because I don't see her using these situations as a way of avoiding her own problems. I feel like for her, it's something that she is passionate about. She wants to raise awareness. She wants justice. And this podcast of hers, Live the Truth, is something that she's worked really hard on. I think it's more helping you face your truth. And we see as she's talking on her podcast, even when she goes to the visual, how that causes her to face her own reality and what she's experienced, and how she wants to do better basically going forward and make other people as well see their own wrongdoings and how things could have gone completely different. Y'all, conversations are getting longer. The stares are getting longer. You know what this means? We're not there yet, but we're almost there. So Spence comes up, and him and Liv, you know, making those connections. You can clearly sense something between them, which Nurse Joy senses, and she wants all the details. But he's concerned about Jordan because Jordan isn't answering, and Liv knows, you know, Jordan in his own world right now. But he goes to walk away, but Nurse Joy, no, because she felt it, she sensed it, she has eyes, she can see it, and she wants the details. I want the details. I need to know what's up next, because these stares and the little combos that they've been having recently. What's next? Why they do JJ like that? He didn't get Nessa. He's not gonna get Nessa. And now Jordan over here throwing shade, talking about, why don't you worry about getting your body back in shape? And I don't know, maybe not sucking as much as QB1. You're not even playing. And this is how you treated him after he came over here to see about you. Y'all know what I like though? The fact that him and Asher came in together. Well, not together because they weren't expecting each other to be there. But they came to be there for Jordan. And there was no fighting or anything. You could sense the tension still between the two of them, but they didn't let that come in the way of their teammate because they knew he was over here struggling. His wife is MIA. Who knows if she's still gonna be his wife when he see her next? So they came to support him, and now Jordan's over here throwing all this shade. He's in a funk. Simple fact that he didn't even get tight after Jordan said that to him, like tight in a way where he was just like, you know, forget you, and stepped. Nah, he just went and unplugged his game. It was like, come meet me on the field. How about that if you want your game back? That's maturity. So Coop has now found a tutor in Preach, and I like Preach because as much as he tries to seem hardcore and how he's not really interested in helping Coop and everything, and you know, just being interested in her life, he genuinely seemed like he cared. He know he cared. And he's like Coop's Billy to me. That mentor type, the type that's going to push you and, you know, really motivate you to be the best version of yourself that you can be. The main thing that separates him from Billy is, you know, Billy's just more polite about it, and, you know, this is what he does. He's a coach. But Preach had been in prison and everything. So as resistant as he is to being a part of Coop's life and really interacting with her, he always finds his way back. And this is just another example of that, of him helping her and do what she needs to do to get the most out of life that she wants. I really like their relationship and just the connection that they have with each other. It seems just natural. She looks up to him in a way of guidance and just to give her that push that she needs. And she definitely needs it. Laura was quick to cut that TV off when Liv walked in. That's that guilt that Coop was talking about earlier. We find out that the investigation for Tamika is being processed through Laura's office. Liv's trying to get more info, and Laura's more worried about being a conflict of interest if she were to talk about the case. So just the fact that we now know that it's gone through your office, this whole investigation, you're in possession of the tape that Mo was just talking about on the news. So clearly you've seen it. Okay, it's coming from a standpoint of you're in this position of power and this is your job, blah, blah, blah. You know everything that has happened. For you to sit on something like that and to just walk away from it without saying anything, especially when your daughter was in a situation that was similar but ended completely different. No. Carter getting all soft here, I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I prefer this version of him, but both me and Mama Grace were a little weirded out. And then we find out that his wife done died last year, y'all. I mean, that could account for a lot of his attitude and how he's been acting. You know, he's a single dad, and his sis who was helping him out, she done dipped, moved somewhere else. So now it's just been him and his daughter. Not making excuses for how he's been or how he's been treating everyone, but I can understand the struggle that he's been going through over this last year as a widower. Spence is meeting with Romello at the cafe, and it's just to talk more about TNT and the possibility of him going there. I don't know why this had me laughing so hard in the moment, but it's when Romello's telling him basically things changed since last year and it all clicked after the shooting and everything. But when Spence responds, his face as he's just like, y'all want me because I got shot? And it's true, because they want him for something that he's really not, as a bad boy. And you know, you need to build up your social media, and basically as you are right now isn't good enough. You got shot, okay, that was a little step in the right direction for what we want from you, but there's so much more that you need to do so we can play off of this bad boy persona, and that's the only way you'll really be able to make it. But and then we got Coop over here who's peeking from the back. Can you mind your business? Shouldn't you be over here studying? I was like, yo, this girl is nosy. Romello's like, you have edge because he got shot, and the fact that he just wants to build him as this bad boy so that way he can take it back to his people. Why is it not focused on his talent within the sport? I mean, yes, he's had a rough season so far, But even based on his last game and him even breaking the record, well, tying the record with his dad in previous performances from before he even got shot, why aren't you going off of all of that and you're just trying to make him into something else? Why are you trying to do that to him? No, he can be great with just football. I love the fact that they not only recognize those that we have lost, but that they really touched on what has been happening, what is still happening, and that this week's storyline really delved deep into that. It's great, you know, when you have a show, and yes, we like when there's parties, we love the romance, the comedy, everything. But when, look at the world we live in, back to reality and everything that we're facing in the world. So for them to be able to really work that into their stories and to really bring light to certain situations, topics, whatever it may be, and to use their platform in that way, that's a great thing, and I fully support that. He ends up introducing Liv to Mo at the visual, and Mo with her, the DA's daughter, Tyrone's sister. Ultimately, she's saying how she appreciates Kia and Liv for the type of people that they are for the most part, and you know what they would do for the community and knowing right from wrong. We have Tamika's cousin, and she's stating the same thing that Mo was stating earlier, which is they haven't released the body cam footage from the cops and they murdered her cousin, and that's what they want justice for. They want that video footage released. And Coop's not even a performance, Coop's speech. I give Coop major credit for this episode because the entire time she's been taking steps, it seems, to better herself. Even from the beginning where she's worried about school and she's working on that with Layla, but at the same time she sees her friend is worried about something, so she's giving her advice. Working on her schoolwork throughout the episode as well, you know, getting preached to come on board and help her. And now when she's giving this speech at the visual, everything she's saying at this visual, you can see it touching everyone in the audience, and it really hit home. She did good. Can't hate on that. Y'all see Spencer's back to reading people? He read homegirl Liv's body language and went over to check on her. He was like, don't do that. I know what you're doing, don't do it. But she was doing it. She's hurt because her and Tamika had similar situations, and for her it's the fact that Tamika pulled over, she tried to sleep it off, and still ended up being killed because the cops approached her, and her situation ended completely different. She drove, she crashed into the parked car, was going to have Spencer take the fall for her, but then realizing that she was the DA's daughter, got her off the hook. And not only that, they even drove the girl home. Why? Because she's the white DA's daughter, and that's what she is truly having trouble dealing with, because Tamika didn't have that same chance. Tamika had two black parents. Tamika thought she was doing the right thing by pulling over and sleeping it off, but still ended up getting approached by cops and killed by cops. She didn't have the same luxury. Nothing against Liv, because you can't choose who your parents are, but she's realizing in this moment how things could have ended up so different for her had she been in Tamika's shoes. Y'all see how Carter over here brightening up when he see Mama Grace at the cafe? Who knew it was gonna be their kids that made them see different sides of each other? So he ends up embarrassing his daughter, and she basically puts him on, you know, your girl, she going through her menstrual right now, you might want to have the talk with her. And then he catches on. Like the fact that their relationship is starting to build based off of their kids, and that's what they're making that connection off of. Right now it's just her that's really giving advice, but I like the dynamic of her having a son and him having the daughter, because then they can, you know, bounce off of each other with ideas and advice and things like that. So I think that's cool. See, Billy gives great advice because he helps to keep you grounded. Well, Spencer at least. So he's talking with him about TNT, and Spencer seems like he's leaning towards it because he has an in with this school. But Billy is telling him, you know, you want to make sure you're able to look yourself in the mirror each morning. You don't want to lose yourself in the process just because you think this is what's going to help you achieve your goal. He needs to think on this because you didn't work this hard to get to this point and to become this person just to lose yourself in the end to a program that wants to change you. But Jordan finally ends up coming to see him, and I love their relationship because y'all remember how it started. You know, Jordan was all salty because Spencer was coming into his school, getting all close with his daddy. He wasn't liking that. But now look where they are. And the roles are reversed. When Jordan's out, Spencer is finally getting somewhere with football. And he was hesitant to tell Jordan about this TNT offer because he can't play right now. Good friend right there, loyal. But Jordan is also really good because he's letting him know, you can tell me about these things. Yes, it's hard because he doesn't know what his future is looking like right now and if he'll be able to play. And I like that he's coming to Spencer for advice because we all know Spencer has a lot of experience in this department because this was just him when he got shot. Homie done been in this position where he ain't know if he was gonna play again, and now he was able to come back from that and look where he is. So this is Jordan's motivation, inspiration right here, is seeing Spence have this offer and basically playing as well as he has been playing. Coop is really trying to make her way into my heart. This scene with her and Layla, and you know, Layla's still going through the motions right now. She's working on this video for Spence because she was eavesdropping on his conversation, so she knows he's struggling with his identity right now. Do I take on this persona that they want me to have, or do I stay true to myself? She's giving him one more gift before she officially parts ways with him because it's a no Spencer zone. And Layla with her, tell me about it. Okay. We know she loved him, so she's not going to get over it just like that. It's going to take some time, so that's something she's still working on. So, you know, there's a lot of things that Layla's working on and she's trying to work through, and this is just one of them. This is Coop's way of closing that chapter on her friendship with Spence, which they're going to find their way back to each other. Billy helping the Crenshaw kids because, you know, they be depriving these kids of the things they need to actually succeed in the world. But he's not about to let that happen. So this new course that he's putting together for them to help them, that's how you build a winning team, and a team that's going to go far beyond what they do within the walls of this school. I knew IP was going to make his move before the episode was over. He came bringing her some flowers, and she didn't want those flowers at first because she could sense something else is up here. You know, we were just going at each other's throats just the other day, and now you're bringing me flowers. He's all, you know, she's bragging about me to all her friends, so, you know, you deserve this. And gives her the flowers, and she takes the flowers. I said, take them flowers, girl. Baby steps. She's gonna bring out the soft side to him and help mend the wound between him and Billy. Y'all see the video she put together for him, though? And y'all know she took her time with it because did y'all see the way she edited the clips together? That took time. Liv confronting her mom about the tape because she knows she has it. She knows that they've seen it. But yet she's still not saying anything or talking about the topic in general. And her mom just saying, you and Tamika's situations were very different. Yeah, look at the outcome. And look at Liv's background. Completely different. And then for her to sit there and be like, not a day goes by that I don't grieve Tamika. Miss, just like Liv said, at least your daughter's safe at home. Tamika's mother can't say the same. No, she can't. Laura's not showing anything. She's not showing how she feels about the situation. She's not talking about anything. So how do you expect her, Liv, to receive that if you're just shutting down every time the topic is brought up, every time news about the situation comes up? You're not saying anything. So she can only take it as one way. Spencer knowing his worth and letting it be known to Romello. That's my guy. Oh, y'all. I didn't even talk about Liv's laid edges. Y'all see them edges in that slick pony? They've been on it. Liv's reviewing footage, and she gets a visit from Layla. Said, let's see how it's gonna go, because I'm not gonna make any prejudgments, you know? I was right, because she's not coming back right now because she wants to get her best friend back. She's coming to apologize because she missed the signs and she wasn't there for Liv in her time of need, because, you know, she was going through her own stuff and she didn't allow herself to really see what was happening with Liv. And she just came to return the pen to her because what she felt then and what she told her when she first gave it to her, those feelings still exist. They're hurt because of the feeling of betrayal between the two of them and lies, dishonesty, everything. But when one of them is truly hurting and going through something, they care about that. And right now, she knows that Liv is really going through something because her addiction is something that's very serious and she doesn't take light. So that's what has her really worried. She just wants her to know that she's sorry she didn't pick up on it sooner and that she didn't notice. And basically that too much of everything that was going on in her own personal life kind of blinded her from seeing what was happening with Liv. So I definitely see the relationship mending at some point, but just like everything else, it's going to take time, and this is just a very small step and something that Liv couldn't really process in the moment as well, I feel, because of everything else that has been going on for her and that she's been dealing with. I feel like she recognized it and, you know, okay, Layla came to see me, she apologized and she recognized my new addiction, but I don't feel like it has really set in for her. I feel like it's laying on the surface and she's not in a place where that friendship is even something that she's worried about right now. There's so many other things that are going on and that she needs to focus on, so this is on the back burner. Now Liv snooping and going into Laura's computer to see the video. I said, girl, that's how you gotta do it, because your mama, she ain't trying to give you nothing. Y'all, what I'm missing with Billy and the fact that he's not recalling this incident with him and Carter and him pinning Carter up on the locker. Is he having blackouts that he doesn't know about, or I don't know, but I'm missing something because me and him both lost. So while we have Jordan, clean face with the guys on the field, we have Spence, who him and Cooper taking a step forward, y'all. He sat there and thanked her for the video that she sent him. So I don't know how long it's gonna be, but that friendship is gonna come back at some point too. The last scene with Liv, where she's on her podcast and she releases the video of Tamika. Tamika fell asleep in her car after pulling her car over on the side of the road. And upon the cops approaching her car, no questions were asked. Nothing was stated about if she was doing anything wrong, if they wanted to see any sort of paperwork or anything, license, nothing. They never asked. But instead, she was forced out of her car. Her car. You could hear them manhandling her, and all she wanted was to call her cousin, because can you imagine you're asleep and you're just abruptly woken out of your sleep, and the first thing you see are cops in your face. You don't know what's going on. You're resisting, and then on top of that, to sit there and tell her, when will y'all learn? Y'all. The amount of disgust and judgment that he had when he used the word, just said, ma'am, is everything okay? Ma'am, is there a reason why you're asleep inside of your car? Ma'am, can I see license and registration to ensure that this is your car? But no, none of that. And because you failed to ask any questions, because you were so aggressive towards her, because you were so quick to pull the trigger, she doesn't get to continue with college. She never gets to see her cousin again. She never gets to see her mother again, a loved one, ever. The fact that her last time waking up was followed by an encounter like this. Y'all, we are on break until May 17th, which I don't mind it. It's not too long. But I'm mostly looking forward to how this Tamika storyline plays out, because now everyone will be finding out that Liv released the footage. And, you know, at this point, it's already out there. So it has definitely been a long one. Y'all, I'm all cried out and I pulled an all-nighter. It is currently too early. Time for a nap. But that is it for this week's video, you guys. And I will see you all next time. Peace.